Life on Mars by Mary K. Carson. Welcome to Mars! Astronauts have never been to Mars, but robot spacecraft have. We've learned a lot from them. Mars is a cold, desert world. Its rocks are orange-red because of rusty iron minerals. At the bottom it says, "It's a fact. Mars looks reddish in the night sky. Look up and see for yourself." That is why Mars is called the red planet. The new word in the bubble is robot. Robots are machines that do many important, sometimes dangerous jobs. Mars versus Earth. Mars and Earth are neighbors. They are alike in some ways. Both planets have ice caps, seasons, and weather. They both have wind, clouds, and storms. But Mars and Earth have differences as well. Earth is almost twice the size of Mars. Also, the two planets have different landscapes. Earth is mostly covered in oceans and has rivers and lakes too. But Mars doesn't have any of these. It is so cold that all of the water has frozen to ice. Earth has oxygen in its atmosphere. The plants and animals that live on Earth need this oxygen to live. However, Mars has very little oxygen. So does anything live on Mars? Scientists have been trying to find out. Movie Martians. Are there towns on Mars? 100 years ago, many people thought so. Telescopes showed a world covered in land. Shouldn't people be living there? Some scientists agreed until better telescopes and space missions proved them wrong. But people still like to imagine what life on Mars would be like. Over the years, there have been books about talking green Martians and scary movies about them coming to Earth. At the bottom where it says it's a fact, in 1896, astronomer Percival Lowell studied Mars through his telescope. He thought he could see farms and canals on Mars, and many people believed him. A close-up look. Spacecraft began visiting Mars in the 1960s. Robot spacecraft measured the air and took pictures from space. No Martian towns were in the photos. There were no farms, forests, lakes, or animals. Mars seemed airless, waterless, and lifeless. Not all life is easy to see. On Earth, worms live underground. Different types of fungus grow inside rocks. Microbes float in the air. The new word microbe. Germs are a kind of microbe. You can't see these forms of life from space. Perhaps life on Mars is tiny or hidden. A spacecraft mission went to find out in 1976. Viking 1 and Viking 2 were the first spacecraft to land on Mars. Each robot scooped up soil and tested it. They did not find anything that was alive. Follow the water. Nothing living was in the Vikings' photos. The landscape was surprising, though. It looked like water used to flow there. The photos showed hillsides with steep ditches and dusty, dry riverbeds. Scientists wondered what it meant. Was Mars once warmer? Did it used to have lots of liquid water? A spacecraft circling above Mars took this photo. Scientists believe it shows gullies or ditches created by running water. There are bits of Mars on Earth. Meteorites are space rocks that fell to Earth. Some of these rocks came from Mars. How do you know what a place was like a billion years ago? On Earth, scientists study old rocks. On Mars, rovers are doing that job. 2 rovers arrived on Mars in 2004. Their names were Spirit and Opportunity. Both had cameras, tools, and robot arms to study rocks. On the diagram, you can see the photo captions of different parts of the rovers. The bottom, it says Spirit and Opportunity landed on Mars by bouncing down on giant airbags. Spirit and Opportunity had a 90-day mission. Engineers thought that after 3 months, the rover's solar panels would be too dusty to work, but blowing winds cleaned the solar panels. Before and after. The rovers have now been on Mars for more than a decade, 10 years. They have studied many rocks. Some rocks showed signs that they used to be underwater. The rovers proved that Mars wasn't always a desert. Mars used to be warmer. Long ago, there was water. Rain fell. Seas and rivers flowed on Mars. Was there life back then, too? What would Mars have looked like if it had water? Plants and animals need water. Even microbes need food. And all life needs nutrients. In the bubble, nutrient. Vitamins are important nutrients. Could anything grow on Mars? In 2008, a spacecraft called Phoenix arrived on Mars. It landed near its north pole. The spacecraft scooped up dirt. It tested it. It found nutrients like nitrogen. It's too cold for life there now, but if Mars were warmer, microbes could live there. Seeking life signs. Mars had the ingredients for life, but did these ingredients ever make life? Scientists are looking for clues. Some signs of past life would be fossils or substances called organics. Organics are basic materials that make up all life. They are its building blocks. Organics can be found in everything from skin to stems and bark to bacteria. A new rover, Curiosity, arrived on Mars in 2012. It is searching for organics at the bottom of an ancient lake. Curiosity is big, about the size of a Jeep. In the bubble, organics. Space rocks are tested for organics. Today, Mars is a tough place for life as we know it. It is super cold, very dry, and there isn't much air. The amount of air in the atmosphere is important. Air is not just for breathing. Earth's layer of air protects its life. It's like a pair of sunglasses. It keeps out dangerous sun rays. Mars doesn't have this protection. Powerful rays would kill anything on the ground. Dr. Natalie Cabral is a scientist who studies microbes that live in harsh places. She studies very cold places with little air and powerful rays from the sun. One example of this place is a lake high in the mountains. These places have similar climates to Mars. Everything Dr. Cabral has learned about these microbes will help rovers look for them on Mars too. There is no life possible at the surface of Mars today, but it might still be hiding underground. ExoMars is a new mission to Mars. EXO is short for exobiology, which is the study of alien life. An ExoMars rover will look underground for signs of life below the reach of dangerous sun rays. The rover will drill down more than 6 feet. Maybe life is safe there. The rover is scheduled to leave for Mars in 2018. Is there life on Mars? Was there ever? There's no proof yet. Scientists are still searching. Here we have the glossary with some of the words in their definitions that were in our story, Life on Mars Today.